So on June the 12th, a poll on June the 12th, and we're now June 18th, I think we are today. So the Reform, there was a poll taken of quite a substantial number of people, and Reform in that poll overtook the Conservatives in terms of popularity or votes, proposed votes, at 19% of the vote.
Yeah.
Now that was a massive day and a massive poll, and I think most of the polls coming since then have echoed that in showing the Reform at or close to the Tories in terms of popularity and potential voting. And that has been a phenomenal shift since Farage announced he was leading the Reform Party. This potentially is a seismic impact on British politics. I think I was going to ask what you thought about that poll and the ramifications of it in terms of what it means for the country, but also what the other parties are thinking.
My understanding is this is the first time ever the Tories have dropped out of the top two in a poll. First time ever, because they're the oldest political party in the world. They're like 200, 250 years old, something like that. And it's the first time in a poll in this country they've dropped out of first to second place.
Wow.
That's historic.
Yeah.
It was, you could tell by the polls it was coming. People were talking about it. Reform had been creeping up, and Nigel Farage coming back was the boost they needed, because he's popular in many circles. He's hated in lots of circles as well, but he's popular in many circles. And I think it's potentially, I'm not sure it's going to be, but it's potentially a death nail for the Tory party if they don't play their cards right.
Yeah. I think it could signal the end of what we know as the existing Tory party, definitely. And it depends how those votes go on the day, don't they? But we're my constituency is Altrincham and Altrincham Trafford, something like that. And I typed in my postcode in a Telegraph thing today, and it said the seat is likely to go to Labour. Well, it's always been a Conservative seat. Well, all the time I've been in that area. So I was quite shocked because my MP was Graham Brady. Sir Graham Brady, who was
chair of the 22
chair
committee.
Of the 1922 committee, a Tory stalwart, a very well established Tory in the state. It looks like he's going to lose. I don't think he's actually standing, but I think the Tories are going to lose that seat. So this is quite a serious thing that's happening or coming at us now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, some of the predictions are Tories down to 70 seats.
Wow.
That will. It may all end up being a lot better for the Tories than we imagine it's going to be.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, it could be the worst it's ever been for them.
Yeah.
We just don't know. We don't know how people are going to vote because people lie to pollsters.
Yes.
And people tell pollsters how they're going to vote right this second now.
Yeah.
And right this second now, Reform or Labour. But when they're stood in that polling booth with a pencil and they're going, right, this is serious now.
Yeah.
What do I want?
Yeah.
Then a million other things flood into their mind, and that can make them vote a way they weren't going to vote 3 days ago when a pollster spoke to them.
Yeah.
So we just don't know. And pollsters themselves are wrong all the time.
Yeah.
No one predicted the Boris Johnson wipeout. No one predicted the Brexit. No one predicted David Cameron's second election win. So they're wrong almost as much as the right pollsters.
Yeah. I mean, my view on this and what I'd like to say to anybody who's prepared to listen to me, but I know people are prepared to listen to you so they can hear my thoughts vicariously through you. I would like everybody, no matter... sorry, this doesn't work in your favour, by the way, Nick. I would like everybody, no matter where they are, even if they know that Reform aren't going to win and that Labour are going to win, or even if there's a chance to... I would like everybody to vote Reform, because what I would like to see is if, say, Reform got nationally 6-7 million votes from the people, it doesn't matter whether they win seats or not. I think if that happens, and I think Farage said this in one of his press conferences the other day, where he basically said, we're now the opposition. I think if Farage and the Reform Party wins 6 or 7 million votes, that will be the transformational thing. because that will be then saying to all the other political parties, we're getting something wrong here. Because this guy, this party, has got more than 10% of the population voting for him, basically. So even though we haven't got proportional representation, even got with this awful first past the post system, I think if Reform win 3 or 4 seats, if they get 6-7 million votes, then I think the other parties are going to sit up and listen. And I think we've got a real change happening in British politics.
I don't think the other parties will care. The parties don't care how many votes Reform get. They only care about how many seats they win. You can get 20 million votes. If you've only got 2 MPs, you're powerless.
Yeah.
You may look good.
Yeah.
You may be able to whinge about it. You've only got 2 seats, but you've only got 2 seats.
Yeah.
And Lib Dems might get 3 million votes and get 60 seats. Well, that's the system we're in.
Yeah. But is that fair?
It's our system. So I'm not for proportional representation. I feel that's a loser's way of trying to change the game they want to play in. We have our system in this country. It's not working at the moment, but I don't think that's a system's fault. I think that's because of career politicians and the apathy of the people in the country. Because, in my last election, the mayor's election, 2 out of 3 people didn't even vote. So how is that a reflection of what the people want? Because most of the people don't even tell politicians what they want and won't even vote. What I think is going to happen with Reform, I think they'll end up merging with the Tory party under the Tory brand. So depending on what happens in the election, Tories will be punished. Doesn't matter how much they're punished, but they'll be punished. Labour will win. We then need to look at, and Nigel Farage will be looking at, who's left. Who are the Tory MPs left? Are they true Tories? Or are they wet, One Nation, woke, pink, fluffy, Blairite Tories? If they are proper Tories, then that makes sense for Reform and the proper Tories to unite under the Tory brand, because it's a big famous brand. If they're not, if it's the one Tory wets, Nigel Farage will carry on trying to destroy the Tory party. Because all they want, really, all Reform want, is a change in the country.
Yeah.
So if they can get that by merging with the Tories, once they've sorted the Tories out, and get the politicians they want with the policies they want, it makes perfect sense, because then they'll be in a stronger position to challenge Labour in the next election. But we don't know how that's going to work out.
But do you agree with the idea of just people just voting for Reform to send a message?
Yes, but there are many people who won't vote Reform for many reasons. So I say to people, you need to vote for anyone apart from the main parties. So vote for Reform, fantastic.
Yeah, vote for Independent.
Vote for Independent, vote for the SDP, vote for any of these other smaller parties. Don't give your vote to the main 4 parties, because it only encourages them.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm kind of saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying vote for Reform, but the reason I'd say vote for Reform is I think that can have an impact.
Yeah.
I think that will have an impact. If those numbers come out and they've had 6-7 million votes, then I think I disagree with you. I think the other parties will have to look at that and say there's a large, substantial part of the population here who wants this kind of change, and that's what we need to deliver, basically. So
if that was going to happen, the Tories would have done that by now, because the Tories know what the people want. But they will do. It's the people in the Tory party don't want any of that. That's why we can't leave the ECHR, Court of Human Rights, and it's because the people sat in cabinet don't want it. The majority of people in the cabinet in 10 Downing Street do not want us to leave, and they're Tory MPs.
Yeah.
Did you like that video? I think you did. Hit the bell, give it a big thumbs up, comment, and don't forget, I'm standing for election in Oldham East and Saddleworth. So please share this video, speak to your family and friends if you live in Greater Manchester, and if you live in Oldham East and Saddleworth, make sure you vote for me. Catch you soon.